unfortunately, our work is entirely affected by the workmanship of the foundation. On scenarios like this one, the house cannot be entirely perfectly level, and it's not because we're not doing it right, it's because the house wasn't built correctly. Hey guys, welcome back to another day of Tales of Foundation Repair. So today we're back in Carrollton. This is a house that we had fixed before. We came to do an adjustment on this property about like 6 months ago. The problem with this house is that the foundation was poorly made. The house has no rebar. It only has like a wire mesh, or at least I'm hoping that it has at least wire mesh. The same homeowner owns these two properties, like this one right here and this one right here. This house behind me, we tried to fix it as well, probably like 2 years ago, and the concrete was all bad. The same situation as the one we're fixing. The only thing is that this one right here is not as bad as the house right here. This house in here, the concrete was all broken. It had about a foot of difference, but the problem was that all the concrete was shattered into pieces. So we had to redo the entire foundation. We rebuilt the foundation. We have some videos on our blogs about this house. It's very interesting. So if you like to go to our blog on our website, you will be able to find this one, everything we did. But now the problem on this one right here is because, like I said, the concrete is too bad. We are going to install some steel reinforcement right beneath the foundation. So the outside of the house is being stable. We are not having any drops after we adjust it. So the problem on this house now is that the inside of the house is dropping down on a straight line right behind this wall. The concrete on the floors is just caving in. The grade beam, it hasn't shifted too much. It's not really that bad, but the concrete, like I said, in the inside, just about 3 feet away from the exterior, is starting to drop down. So that's because the concrete was poorly made. You can see how we have some deterioration in here. So the concrete is cracking. We are just testing the piers, making sure they're not sinking down into the ground. And after we test the piers, just to make sure that they're working, we're just gonna set up all the bottle jacks. We're almost ready on the outside. Here, we're gonna start digging a tunnel. We're gonna dig from here 6 feet into the house, and then that's where we're gonna install a couple of steel piers to make sure that we can leave that area and secure it so we don't have more problems. These are the post tension cables. I expect them to be just like in the other house. They are not insulated, so they're all rust. And that creates a lot of deterioration on the concrete. You can see that the crack, it pretty much starts here where the corrosion is, and it follows all the way up and it goes all the way down. So that's why we have 4 piers in here. 2 piers are supporting this area of from the crack towards here and all the way to the corner. And then these 2 piers are supporting this area right after the crack. You can see here that the cracks on the outside are pretty much closed. This crack was wide open before we did the adjustment because the corner settled down. But after we came here 6 months ago and we lifted it again, the crack has remained closed. You can see it's very, very small. We may be able to make it close a little bit more. We will take a look at that when we're ready to lift. We're gonna lift a little bit, see if the crack closed better. And then of course, we're gonna have to go inside, check the elevation, and leave the area that is caving in. So as Carmelo is pressing the piers, we can't push them down into the ground. The concrete is also like shattering, so we need to be very careful not to damage it, because if it gets damaged, then it's gonna be a trouble. So we know for sure that those piers can't go any deeper into the ground. And like I said, we have 4 columns, so there's no way the weight of the house is gonna drive them further into the soil. So far we have all of the piers almost done. We're just gonna finish testing the last one, and Mika is halfway into the tunnel. We have the bottle jack set up on the piers that we have ready, and we also ready to shim. So hopefully we're gonna finish maybe in like a couple hours. The hardest part of this repair is digging the tunnel, and after that everything is gonna be very easy. So these piers are ready to lift. Hey guys, so here we're inside the tunnel, and this thing that you're watching here is the post tension cable that the house has. You can see how they put it all the way on the bottom of the concrete. So this should be inside the concrete, not on the bottom of the concrete. Then, as I mentioned before, as it was expected, it's not insulated, so it's all rotten. So that's why the foundation starts settling in here. So we're almost all the way there where we need the piers. We're just gonna start installing them, and hopefully everything goes up as planned. But yeah, you can see, like, unfortunately our work is entirely affected by the workmanship of the foundation. On scenarios like this one, the house cannot be entirely perfectly level, and it's not because we're not doing it right, it's because the house wasn't built correctly. So all the crack that goes across here is exactly where the post tension cable is located. So what happened in here is because they put it too low on the concrete, not in the center of the concrete, and also it was not insulated. So with all the moisture from the ground, the steel just got rusted away, and all the rust start deteriorating the concrete. So we can see how the crack follows all the way across the concrete. So we have the grade beam in here. This is what we supported, and this wasn't really moving, but the house was caving in this area because, like I said, the bad workmanship on this foundation. Okay, after Mika finished digging the tunnel, now Carmelo is gonna start installing the piers here. So as we finish installing the steel pipe, then we transition to concrete. We just have one cylinder and the top cap on top, so the whole pier is a steel pier. And here we're just prepping out to set up the steel angle here. So we're just gonna put it across the cracks so we can secure the concrete on both sides of the crack, and hopefully we can lift about 1.5 inches. We can't guarantee that we're gonna make it perfectly level, because as you can see, all the condition of the concrete is bad. It's like really deteriorated, but we're gonna be able to support it and prevent it from sinking down. We just need to lift about 1 inch, so hopefully we can achieve that. It's not a lot, but we'll see when we start lifting. So we're gonna install a third pier in here. This one is not gonna have an angle, it's just going to be for support. That one is ready. Then on this one, we're just gonna have to set up the top cap and the bottle jack. And then we're gonna do that after we finish installing this pipe in here. So it should take another 10 minutes. So we're done setting up the bottle jacks and everything inside the tunnel, and we're just gonna start lifting shortly. We're just gonna have lunch first. Hey guys, so those are the interior elevations. We have to lift about 1.5 to 2 inches more or less. Honestly, if we are able to lift a whole inch to a whole 1.5 inches, that'll be perfect. As you were watching on the previous clips, definitely the concrete is not strong enough, so it's gonna be kind of tough trying to lift 2 inches. We need to be very slow and also do it very carefully so we don't have any damage to the concrete. If the concrete cracks or shatters, then that's gonna become a problem. So the guys are just getting into position. We already have 2 guys right beneath the house, and the other guys are gonna get in the outside in the corner, so we start lifting all together. So from here, you can see the exterior wall, exterior beam, all the way there. And of course, our hero Carmelo, that was able to install these piers without creating any damage to the concrete. Okay guys, so we are ready to start backfilling. We already covered some of the holes, and Carmelo is gonna start packing the soil beneath the house in the tunnel. And like I explained on this house, I think it's a good idea to do the void filling just to make sure that we fill in that gap because the concrete is not really that strong. And that's what happens when the foundation is poorly made. Unfortunately, as you could see, it has no really good steel reinforcement. The post extension cables were exposed into the ground, and that caused them to rot. And because they rot away, then the concrete started deteriorating, and that's why the concrete is weak. But I really think this repair is gonna last a long time. The house seems not to have any plumbing issue, so hopefully that remains the same. Of course, the homeowner is gonna have a plumbing inspection done just to make sure that there are no leaks, and that way we can ensure that the repair is gonna last for at least 6 to 10 years. Okay guys, so we're done. Another job ready. The customer is satisfied. The house came up pretty good, even with the challenges of the house being poorly constructed. Everything seems to be really good, and hopefully the repair will last for the years to come. If it have any problem, then we still offer a lifetime warranty on the work that we did. So hopefully this will last forever. And like I said, if not, then we'll come back and see what else can we do.